turn your head that way. Stop looking at me.
Ta-da. Okay. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. Well, I'm back. This is year number 5, I think, that I've been retiring. It's a little embarrassing, but I still love what I do, and there are things that we still need to get done before I do finally retire. So that's what we're working on, and that's really what I want to talk to you about tonight, is where are we going from here? Honestly, the Elks in Royal Purple have truly changed the face of deafness in Saskatchewan. You have been at the forefront of so many of the changes, including the introduction of auditory brainstem testing, cochlear implants for both children and adults, and bone conduction devices for children and adults. As you know, the program was established in 1976, and this is our 44th, I think, year. SPARC is a family-centered program for children, young children with hearing loss. These two little guys, this little one over here was identified, both of these children actually were identified through the newborn hearing screening program that was just in Saskatoon at that time. And the little girl on that side is 9 months old, and this little guy over here is now, well, he's actually now in kindergarten. As was mentioned before, the Elks in Royal Purple have walked more than 85,000 person miles over these years and have raised well over $3 million for our program. That is an amazing accomplishment. It's been an interesting year, to say the least. There are a number of things that we had basically set out to try and ensure and then try and work on and develop from this point. One of the things that we're trying to work on is maintaining the identity of SPARC. We do not want to be just lumped into other programs where we don't maintain an identity. And we need to make sure that there's recognition of the Elks and Royal Purple Elks and the contributions they have made to the development of our program. We also want to be in a position where we can maintain a degree of autonomy. To just be stuck within a great big organization where we don't have the luxury of the flexibility that we currently have as a result of the contributions that you people have made would be a mistake, because the face of deafness continues to change, and we need to be able to adjust and move with that. And then we need to be working on a transition so that somebody can take my position and continue on with the development of SPARC. We need to play an integral role in the early hearing identification and intervention program that's been started in Saskatchewan. That first step has been completed. And that's basically providing newborn hearing screening to children all across Saskatchewan. But there are other steps that need to be taken in that regard. If you're going to identify a child who may have a problem, then you need to have the capacity to diagnose that problem and the capacity to provide the rehabilitation that those children need. And those are the steps that the government now needs to be looking at and are beginning to look at. And we will be involved in that. We are very fortunate. We now have a new neurotologist at Royal University Hospital, and that has made a huge difference for us in terms of the support and visibility, I suppose, more than anything, of the program. We are now back to doing cochlear implant and bone-anchored hearing aid surgeries in Saskatoon for both children and adults, and that is major. And the other thing that we want to be able to do with that group is work on evidence-based research. We recently, SPARC was part of this application for a research grant, and it was the largest grant that Saskatchewan Health distributed this year for looking at what is happening with adults and cochlear implants and dementia, and also tracking the development of speech and language skills in children with cochlear implants. This has national input from essentially coast to coast. So it's quite a nice project to be involved in. And then we're looking at transition to the Children's Hospital, the James Patterson Children's Hospital in Saskatoon. We're just about fully moved in, and as of the end of Friday afternoon, we actually had an up and running and working audiological suite. So that is going to be an interesting journey in itself. Most of these things I've covered. One of these days I really will retire. So, as I said, the early detection and intervention component of the program, that's what has to happen at the provincial level. And with the support from the Department of Surgery, the university, and the neurotology and audiology department, it's hoped that this will be something that we work toward within this next year. We're fortunate right now to have an administration that is, I think, both knowledgeable about how we go about achieving this and willing to work toward it. That hasn't always been the case, but I certainly feel that those components are in place now. And then the Saskatchewan Children's Hospital. It's really nice to have that lovely new facility and to be able to be part of it. And we'll be doing joint clinics as well with our new neurotologist. So in many respects, it's exciting times. SPARC still exists, and we certainly want to continue to do that, and hopefully we'll move from strength to strength over the next year. Let's make sure it continues. And I'd just like to thank members of the Elks and the Royal Purple Elks for all of these years of support and camaraderie. There's so many people here that I've known for probably 3/4 of my life, which is amazing. So thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce Crystal Zorni to you, who walked with Henry on her hip for 3.5 weeks today. Amazing, maybe she can still stand. It must be nice to be young. Thank you very much, everybody.
So my name's Crystal, actually Zeroni. I have a good Polish name. It's okay. Yeah, so this is my little guy Henry, and we have a really long story for his very short life of 3 years, but I'll break it down quick. He was born 27 weeks premature, or I guess I had him at 27 weeks. So we spent 90 days in NICU, which is a considerably long time. And then when they actually did the early detection. He kept getting hearing tests, and he kept failing them. And people were like, well, it's very noisy in NICU. Don't worry, he's got hearing. Don't worry about that. You mothers always worry, that kind of thing. But he failed about 6 of them. So I kept pressing, and then eventually we ended up doing an EBR. And on July 27th, 2017, it was like we were sure that that's what it was. And we had to make the decision whether we were going to do cochlear implants, and we did. We went ahead and got them done in October of that year. And I have a lot of video stuff about this, and I'm sorry I didn't prepare it better, but I have this video of him when he's first got his devices activated, and he doesn't know what's going on, but he just looks at me, and it's like, this is different. There's something new that I haven't had before, and it's amazing. So there's been a lot of ups and downs with Henry's health. He's 3 now, but for the first 2 years of his life, like I said, he was very premature, 90 days in NICU. I brought a very small baby home on oxygen. So he has chronic lung disease. Then we found out he was deaf. Got the cochlear implants. Things are looking good. I'm going back to work. And then my mom's bathing him, and she goes, Chrissy, what's this weird lump? And I go, what lump? And she's like, he's got a huge lump on his side. And I was like, no, he doesn't. And I didn't even notice it, because what it was is, it turned out he had a tumor on his kidney. And it grew so quick. By the time we went in 2 weeks later for surgery, we couldn't get a shopping cart strap around this little guy. And he's small. He's a very, very petite child. So, yeah, we did 5 months of chemo. We had the kidney removed, the tumor removed, 5 months of chemo. And it really devastated me, because I was like, we should get a pass on this. We've already been sick. There's no reason for us to go through this one more time, and he's so little. So that kind of killed me. But what was really an odd silver lining is that I got to stay home even longer with him and work on all the speech therapy. And that was kind of great. And the thing about Henry is he's my favorite subject in the whole world. I will tell anybody who will look at me about this kid. I just love telling his story, because at the end of the day, it's a really good one. And I kind of, for a long time, because I think for the first 2 years it was such a struggle, I kind of told it as a sad story. And then this last year, we've had the most uneventful, awesome year of our life. He's just done nothing but grow, and it's been amazing. To speak more of his language, it's been interesting. I made the choice to do cochlear implants, and it's something I am grateful for every day. I have a little boy who loves music. He loves to dance. He started out going, mom, 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 but now he says things like mom, or mom, or it's like there's all this development, and he says kitty, and he says daddy, and I can't even count all the words he says now. When I take him into Jose's, we're always kind of she's like, oh, he can say that? And I think, yeah, I didn't know you didn't know that, because there's just too many to count at this point. So we are so grateful for the help from the community, because one of the things about having a child with challenges, I was one of the last women in my friend group, to have kids. And they didn't have these kind of challenges. So if I turned to them and wanted to ask a question on how they would do something, I didn't have that support from them, because they couldn't provide it for me. But I had Jose and Lynn to tell me what was good or what was bad or what I needed to work on, and I am so grateful every day for their support. And I have a really amazing little guy who's just nothing but potential. And I'm so glad we made the decision to do this, and I'm so glad that we have the support of groups like this, because I can't imagine if I'd had to do that on my own. Being a mom sometimes is isolating, so being a mom with a kid with challenges can be even harder. And just to have people there for you, and to have those resources. I mean, I get a little frustrated right now that hearing aids are such an issue, because yes, we diagnose children, but then what? So at least with this, I have all of these things I can do for my son, and I can participate and help him. So I am very, very grateful. Thank you so much to the Elks and Royal Elks Purple Fund. It means so much to us, and we are grateful every day. Thank you.
she the one that couldn't attend the 1 year, but she made up a video?
No, I don't know if it's gonna work.
We'll,
That's okay.
I don't know why it's, yeah, sorry, we don't have a plug into this, but we'll be available in